members of the clergy, Her Excellency the Governor General, and Mr. Duggan, members of Cabinet and Parliament, and I recognize the Honourable Leader of the Opposition, the Deputy Speaker, Sir James Mitchell, former Prime Minister, Lord Justice Brian Cottle and Mrs. Cottle, Lady Vida Beache, members of the family of Sir Vincent Ian Beache, members of the diplomatic corps who are here, and those representatives of government who have come in, and pilgrims all gathered here at the Methodist Church in Kingstown. Sir Vincent Ian Beache was my dear friend and comrade. Indeed, for the last 25 years, from 1994 until he left this earthly city, he was my closest comrade and friend. Sir Vincent was one of the outstanding political personalities in the modern history of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. He's of iconic status. His political activism spanned the last 47 years of his life, from 1972 until his death on August the 5th, 2019, a mere 8 days before his 88th birthday. Even after he retired from representational politics unvanquished in December 2005, he remained within the governmental apparatus, spearheaded by his beloved Unity Labour Party, as the trusted and wise advisor to the Prime Minister, and as part of the leadership of several entities of the state. Sir Vincent's extraordinary contribution to the socio-economic and political development in the immediate pre-independence period and after independence in 1979 mark him out as a nation builder of the highest quality in our country and in the region. He was a parliamentary representative for 26 years, 15 years as the elected representative for North Central Windward, and then for 11 years in South Windward. Only Sir James Mitchell and Ebenezer Joshua have served longer as legislators in our country. Sir Vincent held major offices of state with portfolio responsibilities at various times for agriculture, forestry, fisheries, industry, trade, national security, civil aviation, maritime affairs, and the public service. He held the office of the Leader of the Opposition for 10 years and acted as Prime Minister on more than one occasion. He was the political leader of two major political parties, the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Labour Party and its successor, the Unity Labour Party, of which he was the principal creator and first political leader, the occupancy of which office ensures for all time that we in the ULP will always esteem him as our comrade leader. Over the wide span of years of Sir Vincent's political and governmental activism, he played major leadership roles in the conception and practical rollout of a huge bundle of significant initiatives, including the reintroduction of the sugar industry in 1977-1979, the land reform program on former estates of Basil Balcombe, including Monbentic, Langley Park, Grand Sable, Connery, and San Souci estates. The introduction of several new cash crops and the enhanced diversification of agriculture, which earned him the title of the best Minister of Agriculture ever. The establishment of the Diamond Dairy, the expansion of the Camden Park Industrial Estate, the National Provident Fund, and the original framework of the National Insurance Scheme, the Georgetown Hospital, the Petrocarib Project, the National Properties Company, the Argyle International Airport, the modern prison at Belle-Isle, the constitutional reform process of 2002 to 2009, the modernization and reform of the police force, including the establishment of the Rapid Response Unit and the National Commission on Crime Prevention, the programs of repair and reconstruction and construction of police stations nationwide, the introduction of a modern machine-readable e-passport and a sophisticated border security system, the establishment of a modern institutional framework for the regulation of regional civil aviation, and the setting up of the Eastern Caribbean Civil Aviation Authority and its achievement of Category 1 status, the establishment of the modern maritime administration, the helping to shape the detailed trading rules in the early years of CARICOM, particularly relating to interregional trade in agricultural and manufacturing products, the SET program, the geothermal project, public sector reform, and the pursuit of an independent and progressive foreign policy. This impressive list of practical achievements elevates Vincent as a transformative leader who contributed immensely to the alteration of the socio-economic arrangements for the better in the people's interests in post-independence St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Further, Sir Vincent was an outstanding parliamentarian with a sharp mind, easy speaking style, and possessed of the demonstrable capacity for detailed and well-researched presentations. He knew authoritatively the rules of the House of Assembly and was experienced in their application as befitting a parliamentarian of 26 years. In Parliament, Sir Vincent had a legendary stamina. On one occasion, in the late 1980s, as opposition leader, he spent over 2 full days from morning to way into the night on his feet, debating the annual estimates and budget. This performance prompted the then government to change the rules of the debate so as to restrict the opposition leader to no more than 4 hours of debate time. On the political platform, our comrade leader was compelling and persuasive in his delivery. He was always focused. He kept his audience's attention with substance, humor, and a skillful use of the language of the folk. In his post-1994 campaigns, he grew to be masterful on the platform. In the comfortable and supportive embrace of his ULP, he even danced and pranced in his own inimitable style. We well remember his unique dance moves to the popular song, "We Go Mash Them Down, Can't Lose." Our comrade leader was a master political organizer, thoughtful strategist, and astute tactician. He saw better and further than most. He displayed a calm acceptance of facts on the ground, of political realities. He never had a compulsion to brood over them, but to fashion this real world, not an imagined one, to the benefit of his party and his country. He was possessed of a keen sense of political timing. Instinctively, he knew urgency as well as patience and restraint. He tempted less astute political practitioners into elementary errors. Undoubtedly, Vincent Beache was primarily responsible for building the ULP as a formidable, well-oiled, easily mobilized machine at the grassroots level, armed with a clear vision, a well-articulated philosophy, carefully crafted policies and detailed programs. His house-to-house campaigning, his links with the people, his relaxed and focused engagements, and his easygoing manner and his patience with people were the stuff of legend. Men adored him, women loved him, and the children simply called him Vincent. Above all, Comrade Vincent loved people. His politics was about people and the improvement of their lives. Instinctively, Comrade Vincent was philosophically a social democrat. He was a nationalist and a regionalist. He was an internationalist. The political outlook and composition of the core leadership of the ULP brought the best out of him in all these respects. He valued political solidarity of like-minded people and groups. He eschewed a pristine individualism and realized that only through collective solidarity and action that real progress, real social progress, is possible and sustainable. Sir Vincent's life and work were shaped by his rural upbringing in South Rivers, the liberation theology of Methodism, and his belief in Almighty God, his education at the grammar school, his experience as a primary school teacher, his migrant's life in the United Kingdom and Canada, his stint in the British Air Force, his professional training in electronics and allied disciplines, his membership and leadership of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Labour Party, and his paternity and leadership of the ULP, his solidarity with his comrades, his love of and for people, his love for Lady Vida, his wife and companion of 57 years, and his 6 children and 11 grandchildren. Comrade Vincent and I were political competitors between 1979 and September 1993 in North Central Windward. Throughout that period, we loved and respected each other. We were actually friends, but who critiqued each other at election time, most often on contrived, not real differences. Our respective supporters liked each other, and they were primarily responsible in getting us to come together in the face of the NDP ascendancy at the time. Both of us were unalterably opposed to the NDP, and we saw, not everyone would agree with us on this, but we saw that that organization was a standing danger to our country's progress. From 1994 until now, these last 25 years, I worked with him and others as close comrades to build and sustain this impregnable, progressive, people-centered mass movement and its living political vanguard known as the Unity Labour Party, our comrade leader's creation. Our comrade leader's philosophy of life and politics was grounded in a sense of community, the present of which he knew had a past and a future to be further ennobled, not desecrated. He was faithful to what he saw and what molded him. He saw the whole and allowed little or nothing to limit his large vision. This gift prompted him always to embrace uplifting change, personal and national. Some people wake up every morning as if it were the first day of their lives. Not Vincent Beache. He was always learning and remembering. For this reason, he detested hypocrisy, self-righteousness, and a contrived sanctimony from those who sought to mask their ignoble agendas, cocooned in dishonesty and hubris. You know the true measure of a man in times of adversity and setbacks, as well as those of triumphs and successes. In the 1989 general elections, he led the St. Vincent and Grenadines Labour Party to a massive defeat. Even Vincent lost his seat. He was mocked by those who were victorious and made a scapegoat by some within his own party who themselves undermined him from within. In our mutual losses, we drew closer to each other. In the fell clutch of circumstance, Vincent never winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeons of chance, his head was metaphorically bloodied, but unbowed. He knew that with the correct strategy and disciplined political labor, political fortune would again favor him. On the occasion of his defeat, it mattered him not how straight the gate or how charged the political indictments of the partisan scroll. In communion with the people, he remained the master of his fate. He was the captain of his soul. He bore the slings and arrows of misfortune with equanimity. He met treachery and malice with a quiet grace. Our comrade leader was an unusual man, devoid of any quest for personal glory. To be sure, he was ambitious, but more so for others, for his party and his country. In the June 1998 general elections, he led the ULP to a victory in popular votes, 55%. But we lost the election narrowly by one seat through the vagaries of the first past the post electoral system. By October 1998, he was demitting voluntarily the office of political leader of the ULP. In December 1998, he strongly supported me to succeed him and pledged to serve under my leadership. He kept his pledge. This is very unusual in politics, especially Caribbean politics. Usually, leaders either die in office or torment their successors or sulk away grumpily into oblivion. Not Vincent Beache. He joyously served in any assigned or chosen position for the greater good of the collective. In the process, he and I became closer than ever. And with Louis Straker and Julian Francis at the center of the party, in concert with other comrades and supporters, we have proven to be unbeatable. His unvanquished spirit in us will endure, and it will ensure that we will win the next one and more for him and his ideals. From March 2001, when the ULP was first elected to government, until December 2015, Comrade Vincent and I ran the government essentially as co-prime ministers. He was true to his oath of office to serve all the people of St. Vincent and Grenadines to the best of his ability. The historians will one day write this remarkable story. After December 2015, until his last days on earth, he offered me useful advice and guidance. I shall miss him dearly. I have absolutely no doubt that Sir Vincent Beache is the best Prime Minister St. Vincent and the Grenadines never had. The myopic and jaundiced critics of Comrade Vincent underrate this great man. Many hitherto have underrated him to their lasting detriment. Each of us has his or her fond memories of our comrade leader. In remembrance, I hear the cadences of his sweet voice and his uproarious laughter. I watch his handsome face and graceful strides. I'm listening to his funny and self-deprecating story about how he inadvertently locked himself out of his hotel room without shoes and in his bathrobe. I'm next to him in Parliament and Cabinet or at a meeting of the Central Executive of the ULP doing the people's business, in his case magnificently. I'm with him at a river cooking south of us, or on a village green playing cricket. I'm in his company at one of his favorite watering holes, where he's sipping his Pepsi, his metaphor for a much stronger brew. or sharing a meal with him. I can see and hear him in conversation with Michael Hamlet and Arthur Williams, who have left us. Seeing and hearing him with comrades Louis, Julian, Camilo Saboto, and others. I can still hear him proffering advice to his son Glenn or his brother Allens. I am watching him and hearing him in loving banter with Lady Vida. In short, Comrade Vincent lives in me, in the way my deceased mother and father do. I shall always love him. My love for him is ever as a fixed mark that looks on tempests and is never shaken. Over a decade ago, his thoughtfulness and generosity impelled him to give me a pair of his leather sandals to wear on the occasion of my foot injury. I still have the sandals, and I still seek to fill his shoes. Sir Vincent had always seemed indestructible to me. I saw the aging of his body, but his mind remained very sharp. The swift ravaging of his body by his illness shocked and pained me. In his last weeks on earth, I had several private conversations with him. They remain precious to me. When he found it difficult to speak in his last days, I will talk, he would listen, and nod or smile as the circumstances admitted. I last saw him alive on the evening of Saturday, August the 3rd, 2019, shortly before I boarded the aircraft for New York en route to a prearranged official visit to Taiwan. He nodded his agreement and smiled when I asked him to hold the fort until I returned. Given his condition, I only half expected to see him alive again, but he wanted me to go and do our work. I told him yet again of my love for him. He held my hand, and I promised him to protect his legacy and his memory as long as I shall live. I shall keep that promise. Neither the Vincent haters nor the Ralph haters will deter me or stop me from doing my duty to my fallen comrade and to the ideals and practical programs for which he fought so dearly on behalf of the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines and the Caribbean, whom he loved and cherished. I know from our conversations that Comrade Vincent did not wish anyone who gave him no quarter in life or who disregarded his efforts or contributions to shed no crocodile tears or engage in any hypocrisy or contrived sanctimony. I ask Almighty God to imbue me with the grace of forgiveness towards those who with personal or political malice speak ill of him. Let them consume themselves in their own bile and rancor. We who knew Sir Vincent know very well that he did not want any excessive ceremonial at his passing. But we who are grateful for his immense work on behalf of his people, and thus for his example, we who thank God for giving us this remarkable human being, we must honor him in our best and most civilized ways, as we do today with this state funeral. As an initial memorial, our government is establishing a Sir Vincent Beache Memorial Scholarship Fund to provide scholarships, grants, material assistance to deserving students at the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Community College and at universities in our region, particularly in the fields of applied science and technology. The government of the Republic of China, Taiwan, has already pledged an initial US $150,000 to this scholarship fund. The government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines will provide at least a matching sum. I will personally contribute, and I will personally embark upon a drive to source other funds from the private and public sectors and external agencies. This is in addition to any particular scholarship or other memorial to be named in his honor. We, the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, especially in the ULP, will protect and advance the legacy and memory of Sir Vincent Ian Beache, a titan of our time. Without our comrade leader, we are infinitely poorer, and we have lost a valuable guide. But we must go on, having learned wealth from him. He taught us that in this wounded universe, the sun shines and the moon glows. The wind blows. The tufts of grass still glisten. The flowers still blossom. The birds still perch on the cathedral spire. The lands and the seas provide us food. The children still play on the fields and on the dusty roads. And the farmers in the rain still marvel at the majesty of the rainbow. He taught us that although the world is injured, we must not lose it. We must make it better in accord with the spirit of Vincent. We thank God for all his mercies which are renewed every morning. All that we need his hand provides. Great is his faithfulness. On metaphoric bended knees, this is the benediction of our hour. We rejoice that our God has blessed us with our Vincent. On behalf of the government and people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, on behalf of the Unity Labour Party, on my own personal behalf and that of my family, I express sincerest condolences to Lady Vida and the immediate family, friends, and comrades of Sir Vincent Ian Beache. I say a final farewell to my fallen comrade through the words of Martin Carter in his apt poem, Death of a Comrade. Too soon, our banner draped for you. I would prefer the banner in the wind, not bound so tightly in a scarlet fold, not sudden with your people's tears, but flashing on the pole we bear aloft, down and beyond this dark, dark lane of rags. Dear comrade, if it must be you speak no more with me, nor smile no more with me, then let me take a patience and a calm. For even now the greener leaf explodes, sun brightens tone, and all the river burns. Now, from the morning vanguard moving on, dear comrade, I salute you and I say, death will not find us thinking that we die. Thank you.